Birmingham native Valerie Jackson is a young wife and stepmother. A year ago, Valerie's family was selling their house and moving to a new home in McCalla. What she thought would be a normal day of packing ended up changing her life forever.
I rose up out of the bed and I felt as though my head was about to explode. The pain, I can't even explain and adequately describe how severe the pain was. I got out of bed, and when I started to walk, I was just off balance, very dizzy. You know, I had problems seeing. I told myself, I can't see. And so I said, I think I need to go to the hospital. And so I got me on the examining table. It seemed like hardly any time before he was back, and he says, sweetie, I've already ordered an ambulance to come pick you up. You've had an aneurysm. If you could have seen my eyes, I don't know how big they got. I just thought, this can't be happening. Are you serious? This has really happened to me? So I just couldn't believe it at that point.
Valerie had suffered a bleed between her skull and brain. Doctors said if the bleeding had entered her brain, she would have had a stroke. They said getting to the hospital quickly potentially saved her life.
When I realized what had happened, that's when the fear set in. It's like, I can't believe this happened. You know, I could have died. I was so close to death. And that's when I got scared.
Valerie says it was her parents that got her through this emotional time.
They were so encouraging, and you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. You know, actually, this is short of a miracle that you came out of it, and that nothing happened instantaneously, because we could be preparing for your funeral.
Now Valerie and her family work with the American Heart and Stroke Association to educate others. Her father, Chef Clayton Sherrod, had been already volunteering through healthy cooking demonstrations, but now the mission is more personal.
My father was scheduled to cater the Power to End Stroke reception just a few days after my aneurysm. And talk about coincidence, my goodness, the impact of what had happened just leading up to that. It just put things in a different perspective for him. You know, at first he was participating because he was interested in, people eating healthy, but then it had a totally different meaning for him.
Valerie says education through the American Heart Association is key when it comes to helping yourself or a loved one prevent strokes.
It further educates people in the community about what can happen. Even if it's not for you, it could be, like in my case, it could be for my husband, it could be for a family member, or it could be for a friend. We all need to be educated. If it's not just for ourselves, it's for someone you love.
Valerie's aneurysm was a little over a year ago. She recently celebrated what she calls her first life birthday. She says she's grateful to be alive, sharing her story.
Oh, I felt wonderful. That morning, Monday morning, I got up and I just, began to praise God and thank Him for my life and thank Him for everything that He's done. The migraines, can be bad, but in the scheme of things, in the whole of what has happened to me, it's minor. Here I am. I'm still here. I'm still living. I'm still working. I'm still doing the things that I enjoy. So that morning was a beautiful morning for me. When you go through something, you're thinking, I'm the only one. This has happened to me. And so when you're going through your journey, that's all you're thinking about at that point. But sometimes your journey is to be able to help others. And I think that's what the whole thing is about through the American Heart and Stroke Association, is to be able to help someone. Act fast, seek medical attention, go to the hospital, because that's the difference between life and death.